Hey everybody, I'm Mama Baird and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing some jams and jellies. There's a couple that I want to make again this year, a couple of new ones that I'm trying, and there's 4 different ones I'm going to be making. We're going to be doing a low sugar strawberry jam, a low sugar strawberry rhubarb jam, and then an apple pie jam, and a rhubarb vanilla jelly. There's going to be a couple of different steps we need to take for each one. All of them just require water bathing though, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I should be able to knock them out pretty quickly. I thought I'd bring you along and teach you guys how to make some super simple yet tasty jams and jellies. So let's get into it and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, to start off, I have my pressure cooker here. I'm going to be using as a water bather. So I just have water in there at a simmer. I have a couple of jars in the sink and hot water getting sterilized, and then a couple, I'll probably have a few more after this. This low sugar strawberry recipe is actually very simple. I have 6 quarts of strawberries in here. I have 8 cups of sugar, and we're going to use 2 packs of the Sure Gel low sugar. So I'm just going to kind of mash these up a little bit. I have these quartered, you know, nothing too special. You could throw these in a blender if you wanted more of a jelly. A jam is kind of chunky. Preserves has big chunks of fruit in it, and a jelly is completely strained and smooth. Should have get one of the kids in on this. So mashing is just gonna kind of get some of those juices flowing. I don't mind giant chunks of fruit though, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Alright, got my strawberries in the pot. Gonna get this going on high heat here. Next thing you're going to do after you have the strawberries in the pot, you're going to take half a cup of our sugar that's out of our 8 cups and our 2 packets of pectin, and you're going to mix it together. My strawberries are still heating up. Just kind of crushing them a little bit as they heat up. And our strawberries are just bubbling away here. We're going to take our sugar pectin mixture and pour it in there. And then you're just going to stir till it's all combined. I think I might take my immersion blender and zap some of these strawberries a little bit. Bring this up to a boil, and it needs to be boiling a rolling boil, and that means that when you keep stirring it, the bubbles don't go away. So that's what we're looking for right now. Alright, so this is where you want to be at, where I'm saying that it's at a rolling boil, where you stir it and you can't stop it, like the bubbles keep coming. That's where you want to go till. Some people add a clump of butter to help with this foam that's on top. I don't really mind it, so I'm not gonna add butter to it. You're gonna add the rest of your sugar and stir it. That will drop the temperature. So you're gonna stir it, and then you're gonna wait till it comes back up to a boil. And then all you're gonna do is boil it for 1 minute. The last thing that I'm going to add is just some salt here. I like to add some salt with anything that's super sweet. It helps kind of counteract it and bring all the flavors together. So just like half a teaspoon or so. Nothing too crazy. Alright, so this is about where you're going to get at, where you're stirring. And the bubbles keep going, so this is when you're going to set your timer for 1 minute. You want to at least cook this for 1 minute to activate that pectin. And this will boil really high, so you want to make sure that you have a good big pot for this. So you can see already how much this is expanding just while it's boiling for this 1 minute. Alright, our 1 minute is up. So we're going to turn this off. And we're going to jar it up. Jar it up, jar it up.
Mom, this is hard work.
Open high. Good? Good? It's gonna be good on a peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
How's that taste?
Good.
Good? We got it good. Alright.
Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.
Subscribe to the channel. Oh, don't forget to press that notification bell.
And make sure to make strawberry jam.
Make that strawberry jam.
It's delicious.
And now that we are done putting this in there, I just have some distilled vinegar, paper towel. You're gonna wipe the rims really well. Get all that sticky jam off there.
Sticky.
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 This is really gonna help to make sure that you have a good seal. You don't want any kind of food debris. Call it Miss Debris. You don't want any food debris on your jars. Remember, this is a good time to be checking the rims of your jars to make sure they're not chipped. Make sure they're not damaged, so that you'll get a good seal as well. Now, I do reuse some jars. You'll see some big jelly, like these are strawberry jelly jars I got that had strawberry jelly in them that I'm reusing. I believe in reusing jars as long as the seal and the jar are both good. If you don't like doing that though, then just use canning jars with a new lid, just the way that you normally would. The reasons that it's not suggested that you reuse jars is strictly because they haven't tested it to make sure that it's safe. And I don't see why they would want to test it to make sure it's safe, because it would save the people money. We can't have that. So, totally up to your discretion whether you would like to reuse the jars. As you can see, I do, especially for stuff that's just going to get water bathed. Then it's a good way to reutilize those store-bought jars. I get a lot of those for free off of Facebook Marketplace as well. Like, people are just like, hey, a bunch of jars, pickle jars, you know, whatever that they're giving away for free. And I snatch those up and then use them to jar my own jelly. Just a little idea to help you live a little more frugal. All right, so we're gonna put the lids on these and get them in our water bath canner. I also like to check the seals to make sure that they are all good. Make sure there's no staining, no knife cuts. This isn't punctured in any way. That all looks good. So those are how I determine whether I'm going to reuse it or not. Ah, got it with my belly. Yeah. now that that strawberry jam is in the water bath canner, it is my pressure cooker, but I like to use it as a water bather. I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer for 15 minutes. And then while that is going, then I am going to go ahead and start on my rhubarb jelly because that needs to cook and get blended and cool down for a bit. So let's go ahead and get that started. We're gonna take 10 cups of our chopped rhubarb. This is a good one to have the helpers help you with because they don't have to be exact dice because we're gonna end up blending them because we're just using the juice anyway. To the 10 cups of rhubarb, we're gonna add a quart of water, and then we're just going to let that simmer for about 20 minutes. Just to get all of that juices out of the rhubarb and let it cook down a bit. Holy shrooms, man. This is what my husband just brought in from outside. Man, leave my head. Could use it as a little umbrella. Here is our rhubarb. It's been simmering for 20 minutes in the water. So I have a double layer of cheesecloth here, and I'm kind of have all the corners into something heavy. Like one of it's under my blender, one's under my mixer, one's under my heavy utensils. So I'm just gonna pour that in there and let all that strain. I'm not gonna squeeze it or try and force any of that liquid in there. Just gonna let it here, let it drain probably for an hour or so to make sure I get all the liquid. Hopefully we can get 4.5 cups is our goal. All right, so while that is draining, let's move on to something else. Guys, now that we have our strawberry jam is out, our rhubarb water is straining, so I'm going to move on to the strawberry rhubarb jam. Now this one did take a little more time to prep because I kind of small diced these because I'm not going to be blending this up. So let me show you what I got in my pot right now. For strawberry rhubarb, you want equal cups strawberry to rhubarb, so I have 9 cups of rhubarb and 9 cups of strawberries. In here, go ahead and get that turned on. To this mixture, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons, actually 4 tablespoons because I'm doubling this. So 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. The total sugar amount for this double recipe is going to be a total of 13 cups. So I'm going to do the same thing we did with the strawberry and take half a cup plus the 2 packages of low sugar gel. And we're going to mix this up and then add it to our strawberry rhubarb mixture on the stove. And then you're going to add the rest of your sugar. So that's 8 cups plus 5 for a total of 13. And that's including that half a cup that we mixed the pectin in. I know this is still a lot of sugar, guys. But remember that rhubarb's pretty tart, and that sugar is what helps preserve it. So we're just gonna let this come back up to temperature. Don't forget to add just a smidgen of salt, just to kind of counteract all that sweetness. Helps blend everything together. We're almost to the point where it's going to be boiling, probably another couple minutes or so. I wanted to show you what I did with my rhubarb pouch. I twisted it and closed it in my cupboard, and then had a clothesline to keep it twisted nice and tight, and then it's slowly dripping that liquid. Looks beautiful. Okay guys, we're to the part now where we're stirring it. It's continuing to boil. It's starting to rise up, so we're gonna go ahead and set our timer for 1 minute. And then we are going to jar this up. All right, everybody, on to the final recipe for today. I don't think I'm gonna get to that apple pie jam today. It is already 2:50. I just got done making lunch for everybody, and the strawberry rhubarb is done, but we are still going to do the rhubarb because the juice is ready. So we'll do this one last one, and then we'll call it a day on these jellies, and then I'll do the apple pie one either another day or in another video or something. Mama Bear got a little ambitious, but that's okay. Better to go too much than too little, you know what I'm saying? One less thing that got 3 out of the 4 done. I'll call that a win. All right, so 4.5 cups of our rhubarb juice in there, and then we're gonna add the pectin directly to it. I'm going to whisk to try not to lump it. All right, now this is just regular Sure Gel. It's, whoops, don't add the whole packet. Just this is regular Sure Gel, not the low sugar one. So let's turn this on. I'm gonna go a high heat to get her boiling. And for the vanilla in this, it calls for a vanilla bean, which I think I'm gonna save my vanilla beans for actual vanilla. However, I do have this ground vanilla, which is just Madagascar bourbon vanilla beans, and it's a powder here. So I'm going to use this for the vanilla part. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon, which this says half of a teaspoon of this is 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. There we go. Hopefully that won't turn it into a brown. It'll just add specks. Guess I should have thought of that. Oh well, we shall see. Alright, our rhubarb juice is boiling. It looks like it is going to turn it brown, guys. Fail. Maybe next time just use vanilla bean. Alright, so 7 cups of sugar just went in there. So this is going to bring it back down. And then we're gonna wait till this comes back up to a boil. Same thing, boil it for a minute after it's to that point where you can't stir it down. And that's all there is to it, folks. All right, guys, so some suggest that you add food coloring to get it kind of that pink tinge. Mine had that pink tinge, and then I added the vanilla to it. So I'm just gonna add 1 drop of red food coloring. Now, I'm not a fan of food coloring. I feel like it, you know, there's a lot of bad rep with food coloring for good reason. But this 1 drop in this big of a batch is not going to be, to me, that significant. So, and it'll get us a nice pretty color. Maybe we can try and sell these, get some of our money back on this, you know, we'll see. Yeah, that helped. But if you're not comfortable with food coloring, then just don't add that part. Alright, she's a boiling, stirring it. No matter what you do, she's gonna keep boiling. So we're gonna set our timer for 1 minute. Alright, now we got our towel with vinegar. You know the drill by now. Wipe the rims with vinegar. This rhubarb is actually really good. I tasted some that was in the bottom of the pot there. I'm glad I ended up adding that 1 drop of food coloring to give it a little more color. I don't think it looks too brown. I think that color turned out pretty good. Alright, timer set for 15 minutes. Alright guys, our rhubarb jelly is done. Look at that. I don't think it turned out too brown. Like, you can clearly see speckles of the vanilla in there. It would obviously be more, ooh, do you hear that? It would be more pronounced if you did not put the vanilla in there, or you did vanilla beans versus the ground vanilla. but I'm doing it mostly just for flavor. And I gotta say, husband and I tasted a spoonful of it with what was left in the bottom of the pan, and it is delightful, you guys. This made 8 half pints and 4 ounce jars. So this is just a great way to utilize some rhubarb that's a little different than strawberry and rhubarb. This is just strict rhubarb jelly. So there we have it, strawberry rhubarb, and straight rhubarb. 3 different jellies to utilize any fresh produce that you may have an abundance of this year. Learn how to jar up your own jelly, you guys. This costs nothing compared to buying it all at the store. Most of the time at the store, like the jellies and the canned fruit, all of that, they're allowed to have 30% moldy fruit in that. You never know what you're getting at the store. Learn to can, learn to make your jellies, and stock your pantry. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mama Baird, and I'll catch you next time.